unit. So what's solid waste?
Garbage. Oh, leftovers.
Any solid that you have to get rid of, right? Any solid that you have to throw away is considered a solid waste. This whole entire unit is going to be describing examples of solid waste in the home, in the industry, and the advantages and disadvantages to dealing with this waste, and mainly the problems that have arisen and that we've really done a good job in solving, I would say. All right. This is municipal waste. What's another word for municipal? Residential, good. What's another word too? Commercial, what else? Domestic, okay? So you want to remember those words because they're going to say them in different ways, and a lot of times you see a word and you're like, I don't know what to relate, okay? This is commercial. So waste from Archbishop, waste from your house, that's considered municipal waste. What's the most discarded solids from your plastic is up there. What else? Paper and cardboard. Good. What else? Food. Grass. Like when you cut your palm tree has like dead leaves and you cut it, you throw it away in the garbage, right? Same thing with weeds or something that you didn't. Yes. If you're a good gardener. So 1/3 of waste in the United States comes from what? Nope.
Fast food.
All right. Look at everything that's happening. Here's food, here's items, and here's what you throw away. Good. Packaging. So every time we've done like smaller packaging, like so that you could make better choices in your food, right? Like 100 calories, more packaging, more waste. So we're going to focus on what do we do with all this waste, okay? Above 50% of waste goes to where? So that's interesting that you said because that's the same thing they said last class. So dumps, I want you to write that down, is the old landfills. New landfills are called sanitary landfill. This picture is actually a picture of a sanitary landfill on dumping day, okay? Dumps used to exist. People would throw away their garbage. Now we have sanitary landfills. Something good is that I had to flip these slides. So my number 2 used to not be this. What's the second thing we do with garbage? Recycle. Used to be my number 3. Number 3 now dropped, which is what? Burning or incineration. So burned and incineration. Add that word so you start getting familiar with it. Here's an example of a sanitary landfill, okay? You have, and this order, it's going to be repetitive. So even though that's a 1, we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go back to here, okay? So there's always going to be that flow. So we first, even though this says first, let's just start with this. What is refuse? What do you see there? The actual what? Waste. They're going to compact it, okay? So you dump it, and now they're going to crush it down so it's nice and tight. And then they're going to add a plastic liner, okay, to help avoid what?
Like dripping, leaching.
Leaching is what? Good. To help avoid infiltration and percolation, which will end up where? In our water. Then we add these collectors for the garbage, okay, which are called leachate collectors, to collect what? What do you think they're going to collect? Leachate collectors. What leaches?
Like chemical.
Chemicals in what? Water. You're going to collect the water that's kind of like dissolving these chemicals or taking it with it through the water cycle. And then we're going to do what's called daily cover, which is what? Good. Vegetation and what? What do you see there? Soil. They're literally going to make it pretty. Every single day they compact it. All right, so I want to say in the video, we're going to put the plastic liner first. We're going to add the leachate collectors. Then we add garbage, and then we cover it. And then you follow the whole pattern again. The numbers were right. Add the plastic liner. So even though I went here to here, it's the same thing. But you add the plastic to avoid leaching. You add leachate collectors on top of that to help with the problem. Then you dump, and then you add a layer of topsoil and some greenery every single day to keep it nice. And then we start the process all over again.
So is the bottom one first?
This is first. 2, 3, 4. And you see this diagram, you'll see it. So here's the diagram. We've got clay. Then you've got the leachate collectors. Then you've got the garbage. And then you've got the daily cover. And the same thing starts again. Clay, plastic, leachate collectors, garbage, right? And what happens to the garbage? It rises, rises, rises. Yes, new technology. Some landfills now, or sanitary landfills, have what's called methane collectors. Anybody know what they're going to do with that? I know that it's from the ground, but what are we going to do? Why are we collecting the methane? They're worried about an accident, so it doesn't get released into the atmosphere because it's a what?
Greenhouse gas.
Okay, that would be great, right? That's great. They're doing good things, but they do it for another reason too. You learned this yesterday. To use it for fuel, period, they can literally collect the methane and turn it into electricity. So yes, the collection is good for the environment, and at the same time, it's going to be a good money-making business for the plant, or the plant can run their own power with the collection of methane. So that's a good thing. So correct, that's Vista View. So what are some advantages to landfills in general? They can be used later as a park. And because they're sanitary, they do what? They don't emit.
Isn't there one like right up?
This is it, Vista View. Yeah. They don't emit odor, and they're actually pretty cheap because once you purchase the land, you get to use it, right, higher and higher and higher. Landfills collect waste from your home. Waste gets collected from your home, and it gets 55% gets taken to the landfill. But this is something that can be done that a lot of areas that collect garbage can create, which is a plant within the landfill, okay? Problem is that a lot of neighbors who bought property near landfill will vote against this. But what do you think they could do with the garbage?
Electricity.
They can make it to make electricity. So what do we know about different forms of garbage can produce what? What kind of energy? We could use it to make electricity. So we can use it to make heat. We can use it to make fuel and to make gas. Or we could collect gas. I mean, there's so many things you could do with waste if it's sorted properly, right? How can a landfill collect or make electricity? They can actually collect the methane gas, heat it up. What else happens next? After I heat up the gas? Fill in the blanks for me. They're not there. Just say it. I heat it up, add water, steam, generator, turbine, and then electricity. Yes? We can also do the traditional steam engine. The difference is you start with biomass fuel instead of coal. You burn it, right? You put in a boiler, add water, produce steam, spin a turbine, generator, blah, blah, blah. Only 12% of our waste goes through this process. So out of 100% of waste, only 12 gets actually utilized to provide energy in the U.S. Disadvantages to landfills. I promise you, odor and all these other, space was an issue. Well, space is still an issue. You think we have enough space here in Pembroke Pines for another landfill?
Nope.
Mm-mm. Think about that. What are we going to do with this garbage? We really, really have to start thinking about it, because once the landfill hits a certain height, no more garbage. Emissions. What kind of emissions? Nitrous oxide, CO2, methane, organic compounds. And a lot of organic compounds, when they break down, will become what?
Carbon.
There's a little pH here. What are my red colors? Acidic. Organic acids. And then we also have to worry about the leaching. So with all the things we do, the plastic, the clay, the leachate collectors, leaching still happens. and chemicals still trickle down and still end up in our water supply. And basically it's because the garbage that we discard is not discarded correctly. So that's what the second part of these notes are, is to become aware of garbage items that are considered hazards that are supposed to be dealt with differently. Okay? We could recycle things, right? And that will help with elimination of waste going into the wrong place. You have to know what the two types of recycling systems are. One is primary closed loop, and the other one's called secondary. What's the difference? Good. That's exactly what it is. In primary, we take a product, we recycle it, we make the same product. In secondary, we take a product and we make a new product from it. We don't just have to recycle products, we could recycle food products, right? And make fertilizer or make energy. So think of that. And that's from the sustainable principle. Good luck. Advantages to recycling.
Pollution.
You're going to reduce emissions. You're going to reduce land problems. You're going to reduce water problems because anything you discard on land can end up in our water. So pollution in general. What else? The need for space will be gone. What else? Good. You're reducing possibilities of loss of diversity because with specific things we use and discard, they're no longer available, right? What do we call those? Limited what? Good. And that's another thing that we are saving by recycling. What's disadvantages to recycling?
Expensive.
Expensive. I could tell you like 15 years ago, if you wanted to buy recyclable products, you were spending triple what a normal product cost. Now it's balanced out. What else? Sorting. A lot of times when we started to recycle, we had to sort and people just didn't deal with it. Now the company said, I'll sort for you. So it literally goes on a belt, at least ours does, and it sorts our waste so that we didn't have to do that. We recycle everything that's recyclable and they take care of where it needs to go.